Okay, hello again because I have to re-record it. Oh my god, due to slight issues which I hope will not occur in the second take. I'm back with something shorter, obviously, after this marathon of French whiskies in 2 videos of almost 3 hours. I know. This is something I wasn't planning to do, but it happened that in the last weeks I did try those bottles separately, and I did found there was something special going on, so I had to kind of make 3 bottles which evolved a lot video part 2. It's almost like that, except that difference is it was unexpected, but also what's the other difference? I don't know. So probably I forgot what I wanted to say. Anyway, and also I wanted to touch a bit on the neck pour question, because it's obviously the theme here. Then because you already have the background about those 3 whiskies, we'll put links below to the videos in which I reviewed them already. Even if the Nc'Nean is not easy to find, I found out in searches on YouTube bar, because it's grouped with other tastings from a Whiskey Live, and it's not really well shown as a Nc'Nean review, so sorry about that. So just remind you of when it was founded, and also what's the cask recipe, that's most important, and the tasting, and we'll do the tasting. So before that, and yes, I'm gonna take a break, so I don't know when I will release this review, because now it's too soon, close to the previous one, but probably between the period I will be in family and the one, so before the live show with Menno. Stay tuned for that. I will announce it soon. And yeah, it will be called Double Blind Live with Menno. We will try each 3 samples from the other blind. And I worked on the quiz, which I hope we will have time to do. If there are people interested, of course. Otherwise, if there's only 1 or 2 people, I don't know if we're going to do the quiz, honestly, at the end. We'll see. Let's be optimistic. Other than that, news-wise, spoiler-wise, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I was obliged to open 4 Springbanks and an Indie Bunhaven, because I noticed there was a problem in one of the Springbanks. The cork, every time the cork is crappy. As much as I love this distillery, they should work, in my opinion, and not only mine, I know, on a better cork. So I had to, it was deleted, it was breaking up. It was impossible to open without breaking it up, so I replaced it by a composite one. Another spoiler, I'm gonna put a poll about which ones I had to start first, because also there are 2 other Springbanks I never reviewed on video. I did touch on them on my old website, but I didn't do videos about them specifically. 15 years old, 17 years old Sherwood. But yeah, it was a pain where, to open my 16 years old local barley, because I wanted to keep it for later on, not to sell it, but keep it for later on. It's rare stuff. Same for Springbank Calvados wood, and also what else? You'll see. Let's keep a bit of suspense. Anyway, so what happened is that I said to myself, why not group those 3 bottles and do a video, because I still struggle to do just only one whiskey each time, because I don't have the time to do many videos. So I mean, my whole weekend is lost with this, because there was a problem. So c'est la vie. So let's go with those three, but before tasting them, just a quick point on the neck pour question. Many of you, or people I follow, let's say, because it's not everyone, tend to consider as acquired or as certain as a fact that the neck pour is always bad to evaluate a whiskey, and that we have to wait a bit until we can assess it properly. That also my review, but also my experience is also questioning something else, but we won't have the time to touch it there. How do you rate a whiskey, and when? Or to be more precise, can you give a definitive, confirmed rating to a bottle? Because it will evolve. And in my place, it evolves a lot due to being in the attic, due to have bad isolation from heat. So there's up and downs of temperature and moisture, which tend to damage the corks. But while some corks of bottles I have for decades are okay, or just to change a bit because it's a bit damaged, the spring banks, it's systematic. But there are other problems, as we can see here. Most of the time, I will say I agree with the people who think the neck pour isn't relevant to assess a whiskey, let's say definitively. I have counter examples, unfortunately, that prove, at least for me, that the neck pour was the best of the bottle, and that then it did decrease in quality and in experience. It's a pity, but it happened with several bottles I have. Some are not easily to find, and also I don't have a lot of the whiskey, so I had to put the bottle somewhere else, and it's a bit difficult to get now. So I did put it into samples, and I didn't find it was cool to show you the sample instead of the bottle, especially when it's legendary, as Carrizo is. So I said, let's not show that, but something people can relate to, Port Charlotte 10, and why this here? Because the neck pour was absolutely stunning, with a perfect balance. I will review it, but why I didn't review it already? Because neck pour was stunning, but a month after I retried it, and I didn't find the same sensation. It was a bit weakened, and why? Maybe it's because of the natural evaporation, maybe because the cork was loose on the neck, very loose. As some of you said, I remember in some videos. So I did pump the air, put some tape, etc. But and I'm waiting a few weeks before see if I can review it, if it's changed. But I'm a bit disappointed because I bought another one. I was so enthusiastic about the neck pour of the PC10 that, yeah, okay, life, it's life. Now about this, and because I had to re-record it, don't be surprised, I will not have to think and to pause. The problem was the pause. Sometimes it's reliable, the timer is reliable, other times I'm not sure. So okay, let's start by the first bottle, I mean. And we're going West Highlands. Remember, in Scotland, except for Islay, because it has more than 3 distilleries, the other islands doesn't have the right to call them regions by themselves, and also not only the islands but the specific west coast distilleries such as Ardbeg and Nc'Nean. Here's the tube. Now there's no more tube unless you ask for it, and for some there's not even. What is interesting there is that you have Ardbeg on the top and Nc'Nean in front of it, and we're also into very sustainable distilleries, but founded in 2017, So yeah, we're there, close to the in front of the Isle of Mull, the Chegg, Tobermory. So this is organic. This is batch 6, bottled in 2 times in 2021. So roughly 3+ years old. 5,040 bottles, 46% ABV. Non-chill filtered, non-colored, and this is 65% STR casks and 35% bourbon American oak cask. For those who don't know, I'm sure most of you know, but STR is shave, toasted and recharred casks, and usually when STR name is used, acronym is name, it means it's ex-red wine from Portugal, sometimes from other places. Bordeaux, it can be Bordeaux as well. What else can I say? Not much. They also sell in kind of gin, which is closer to a new make, which is interesting. So natural colors, sticky legs, at least for, let's say, I do a rating on my tasting sheet, and I think it's around 3 out of 5. Yeah, 3.5 out of 5 in viscosity visually. So beautiful gold. Let's go on the nose. So it really has improved in terms of nosing and tasting. Some notes that I didn't like, such as I note some strange note like wine infusions, infusion vinique in French. Something coming from the STR that brought too much sourness for me, but it seems it's gone. So I got a beautifully melted now blend of herbal, botanical, teaish, very vegetal, green in English notes. So it's one of the most complex new distillery profile, I would say, with Isle of Harris and with Ardbeg American. There's no peat there, but there seems to be a bit of maybe wood smoke or light peat sensation at least, and some coastal elements as well. Sea spray, not really. Maybe a tiny, it's maybe psychological. There's maybe some light seaweed, some iodine, not really. I got a lot of tinned fruit in metallic cans. It's a note typical, the tinned fruit metallic cans you can find in Old Pulteney, which is Highlands as well, but northern one, more northern. We cannot say anymore, most northern, due to Wolfburn and I think another distillery now. And Scapa a bit, it has something of Scapa as well, some almost caramelly, buttery thing. What else? There's a sweet and sour sensation, but it's less sour now. Some honey. Yeah, did I say peach, apricot, tinned? And before there was something that it's on the palate notes. Okay. Slangeva. It's really well made. It's it's probably the most complex of the 3 on the table, I would say, right now. With the Raasay, more complex than the Ardbeg. Despite it's only 3 to 4 years old. So it's very promising and interesting. There's a tiny pepper gingery thing that is gone now. It's just enough to give some power to the mix of flavors and lift it a bit. Gonna put some water in it to see how it works. It's still quite hot, so I have to put the fan. I hope you don't hear it. Yeah, weather is weird. We're gaining 10 degrees every now and then weeks, or in the middle of the week. It's Parisian time is weird at the moment. All in all, the same notes. Maybe there's some hint of black tea tobacco. Forgot to write that. Blonde tobacco. Very light component. So there might be also some baked apples. I'm looking at the yeah, so all in all, a quite nice whiskey, quite balanced. The only downside of this, oh yeah, they're 4 to 5 years old. Oh, I'm surprised. Yeah, no, 5 it's impossible, because it's no. So it's rather close to 4. The only downside is I had to pay this 75 euros in France. I do not often pay 75 euros for a new distillery, not first release, but not far. It was even more expensive for the Isle of Harris, but the Isle of Harris came out at 5, 6 or more years old. I reviewed it, so go to see it if you're interested. Now, it's organic. It's also a distillery founded by a woman, which leads to soon, when I will be able to do it, a video about women in whiskey. Another spoiler you might not have already, which I'm preparing for a long time. So there you have it. Is it interesting value-wise? I would say if you're very curious of new distilleries, you're looking for quality, and you give the bottle the time to improve. So yes, I did review it too soon, and same for the 2 following. When you do mistakes, you have to accept them, and also tell people you did mistakes. So yes, to buy 1 bottle. They have limited releases with experimental yeast at over 100 or 130 euros here. I will be more picky to get those ones. Probably not, because it's not necessarily a great value, and it's a bit expensive. We should not encourage distilleries to do that. Such a pricing. So now we're going northern, and we're in the Inner Hebrides, sorry. So very close to the Isle of Skye, with the Isle of Raasay Distillery, also founded in 2017. This is also a 2021 release. Here's the beautiful leaflet they gave me that you can see in one of Whisky Live reports. So you have beautiful, stunning landscapes, and you can see some sherry casks expression. But we're gonna go to the most important part of this, is the cask making, with a lot of informations there. Also, there's a beautiful box, with all the informations about the cask, the soil. It's a beautiful bottle. We already spoke about that in the channel, with all these paleologic old trilobite shapes, and the texture there is fantastic. There is a cost, and this one is, curiously, I bought it for 52 euros online here. So rather more sympathetic fair price than for the Nc'Nean. The cask makeup here is more complicated. It's pitted to 48 to 52 ppm for 50% of the blend of the recipe. It's a single malt, but we speak about blend of cask. With the recipe-wise, 95% of the whiskies on the market are blended, mind you. So what do we have here? We have Nc'Nean oak, which is toasted and charred, we don't know at what level. White American oak from the variety of oak called in Latin Quercus muehlenbergii, from center and east of the United States and Canada. What do they say? It's 190 liters capacity of cask. So for each cask type I will give you, you have to consider that half of the cask are had peated malt in there and the other half unpeated. So that's probably, you know it if you follow the channel. Not many people will tell you, but and only Ardbeg so far will tell you in the label, which is fantastic, the final level of peat, which is measured. Normally, when they give you marketing, give you the parts per millions of phenols, the phenols that are regarding peated malt. They give it to you prior to distilling and to maturing. But when you can get the informations, if you cross all the informations I had, most of the time it means that when they give you the level ppm, you have to divide it by 3 or 3.5 to get the final rate. So it's not 50, 42, it's rather 15 or 18 ppm. Think of this next time Octomore will tell you it's the most heavily peated blah blah blah. It is not, for also other reasons. Then we have X red wine from Bordeaux cask, which are French oak, most of the time Limousin, but not only. Limousin is a region of France in the west. Quercus robur and Quercus patria are the variety of oak, and there's 225 liters here. And the last one is X rye cask, Quercus alba, American oak, 190 liters. But the interesting thing is that it's from wood reserve rye cask, and wood reserve rye casks so far, and they state it in the marketing leaflet there, it's the recipe with and I tasted the bottle with 53% of rye only in the mix. So even the rye casks are not 100% rye. Okay, enough blah blah talk, because it's longer than it's gonna be longer than the first take, because I cannot help giving you some extra information. So less sticky legs, maybe the filtration, the sweet filtration was done as a lower temperature than Nc'Nean, we don't know, because almost the same age. So viscosity is lower, 2.5 out of 5. Now the problem I had with this bottle is the funk, which is not from Campbelltown but is closer to Lecheg, in this kind of farmy, rubbery, almost uber rubber, Benromach rubber note that was a bit off-putting. So it's still funky. It's also stayed for 20 minutes now. I still get floral, fruity elements. The funk, I mean, it's a mix of rubber, mix of animal, kind of manure, some would say, note, with herbal, a bit buttery, so a bit weird, and also some caramel, black chocolate, some tea, black green tea. But it's a nice nose. It's a bit atypical, but it's still a nice nose. Now those notes were very, very loud on the palate, and that's why I didn't like it at the beginning, where the lowest rate was 83. But this did very well melt down over the months. I bought it in December 2022, so yeah, more than a year and a half. Yeah, so all in all, very bit funky, weirdy, peated smoke profile, but not uninteresting. Let's see how it translates on the palate. Wow, it's way more harmonious than in the 3, 4. I noted 4 ratings. 4 tastings. I think it's now on its cruise speed, if I may say, if it does exist for a whiskey. So I can, this can be considered for me as a confirmed rate, not because it's this always for each bottle, but as I sense it for this bottle. I might be still wrong. Yeah, so everything is way more tamed on the palate. It has the orchid fruits are integrated in some caramel, candied fruit notes. It's what I wrote. The kind of very sweet and sour acidulous fruit, red fruit are gone. Instead, there's something that's reminiscent of cherry, raspberry, things like that, but very subdued. And there's a tiny hint of rye, but it's symbolic. There's no more dissonance and unbalance, and the peppery side that the owners were searching for is very much tamed and what could I say, diminished, but it's okay for me. I did find some time that the in some other distilleries will recover the black pepper note is too high for me, but now it's very nice. The New York doesn't really show as much as it did show in the beginning. Gonna try to open it up a bit quickly. It's not a slow reduction. It's the downside of doing reviews. It's another question. One could do 10 hours of video and cut. I don't do editing, and cut it just to see how 2 hours after the drops of water do work. Oh, so all in all, a good experience. There's still some disturbing funk in there, but and there's less complexity showing off than in the Nc'Nean. That's why it's it gained some points, but it's 1 point under the Nc'Nean. I don't bear in mind, I absolutely not agree, with some exceptions, but I do not agree to diminish the rating if the bottle is more expensive. For instance, I would if I was doing like some other channel, sorry, no puns intended, I will drop 3 points out of my rating of the Nc'Nean because of the value, the price. But I refuse to do that because you have to judge the liquid, right? Now, the exceptions I was alluding to are, of course, Macallan's at 700 euros, for which the experience could be poor, and then it's psychologically gonna mark you for the rating. So that's why there's no objective rating, by the way. So yeah, 88, so pretty good rating. Remember, I rate a bit higher than some other reviewers, not all, but certainly lower than the San Francisco competition, completely ridiculous rating system with the 98s all the time, and almost every bottle that's awarded, but they pay to go there. So moving on to I forgot something I had to say, but I want to keep this shorter as possible. Ardbeg Ten, my the black sheep of my collection, if I may say. I already covered it several times and in the Ardbeg Love or Hate video. It's not that I hate Ardbeg, but the Ardbeg 10, I had a big story about it. Go to see the video in the link in the description link. I had beautiful bottles of Ardbeg 10, but I have 2 in a row that were flowed with they were corked, and it was certified by experts working for the retailer. It was analyzed, so I know I was right. I was just unlucky. So when I saw this at a bit less priced, I had 15 euros discount because of the place I go for my errands. No importance there, except it pushed me to buy it, to review it especially, otherwise I might not buy it. So from 49 euros it got 15 euros less. So this is a bottle, yes, so in an Islay whiskey. So it was bottled in 2023 on the 24th of February. You will have the code in the description, the batch code in the description. It's too long. Ex-bourbon cask, non-chill filtered, probably non-colored, but I will prefer that they put it there. This was coming across very harshly, and with 2 or 3 main notes that were absolutely not to my liking. But I had to reckon it could please to other people, and it was not flowed, but it's just a profile I didn't like. So I rated it 85.5 after being rated 82 at the uncorking. 81 is still an okay note. 80, 81 from my average is 75. I was about to say that. Yeah, go to check on the website. There's an explanation of the rating scale of mine. But I had the surprise a few days only ago to try it again, and it has spectacularly changed. So pale gold, sticky legs, so we're there on 4 out of 5, I think. No, I wrote 3, it's rather 4. On viscosity, the price I said. Islay, you know where it is. It's there, West Coast. Okay, it's in the sun and you cannot see it. Okay, I do the effort, losing 1 more second. There, you have it. Everybody knows where is Islay, no? So, still some not off-putting but very characteristic notes on the nose for Ardbeg, which is some kind of dry, ashy, and very creosote, a bit colder nose. Peat smoke, I mean. And right after that we have some grapefruit and maybe some leather. Yeah, we're searching for this note and never wrote it down. I cannot understand. That's it. There's some leather mixed with chlorophyll and licorice. Well, very specific. But the lemony side now takes a bit over the grapefruit. I don't like bitterness. I'm from southern east origin, Mediterranean and Armenian, Greek and Armenian. We're used to a lot of sugared food, rich food, etc. Not only, and over the years with my overweight problem, I had to diminish a lot these kinds of things. Also Western, food as well. But there's still something that I prefer to be slightly on the sweet side and on the bitter side. And there's something more appealing now that's typically the Ardbegs I like. So yeah, the nose already gets way more points than before. 8.75 out of 10. Let's see on the palate if it's also progressing. Way more drinkable. I was searching for a word that I always forget to just a second. I won't pause this video because I'm sure I'm gonna have trouble again, but it doesn't take a lot of time in the telephone to watch. Okay, so acre is the translation I was looking for. Acre is a French word, and I struggle to remember in English. Please go quick. Acrid. Okay, acrid, of course. So there's always an acrid note there's often an acrid note, and that one leads also to bitterness for me. There's still an acrid note here, but there's some creosote, some bit of coal tar. There's something hitting medicinal status, but not completely. It's not Lafrogue. There's no bandages. There's no. You call it TCP in England. I think the equivalent here is probably antiseptical, something like that. Hospital corridors. Yeah, but we love that at Lafrogue. Yeah, let's go, and then a last tasting with a black chocolate, black licorice, those little, for the French audience, les ans, réglissants, lozenges. We had lozenges, not sure. The tiny things, rectangular things we had in my infancy. On the little tin yellow cans, metallic cans. So yeah, there's some dried herbs as well, forgot to mention. Some peat smoke, some dried flowers from the countryside. I cannot be more precise, sorry. What else? Some black tea, not really green tea. This hint of ginger and spice. What I like now is that the hint of star anise, but not as beautiful and as nice as in Kilchoman or Kurlila, or of course Port Ellen and Bowmore. There's a tiny note I like that I think we're gonna have more with water, is of a brewed coffee note as well. But yeah, there's something earthy there, dry, very dry earth. In the past it was more moister, but I wouldn't go to history of Ardbeg because I tried a lot of Ardbegs. Oh, it's so much more gentle and much more interesting for me. I mean, with the water it has improved a lot. So 89.5, can you believe that? Where are we compared to 82 and 85? So it's the winner of the show. Well, it was one of my most hated bottles recently acquired. I mean, recently, it's almost the same time last year. So there you have it. The recognition that sometimes you can review bottles too soon. I hope you find it interesting. Please tell me if in your own experience you had the same problem or experience. What's the most spectacular, maybe case of great improvement bottle, or the contrary you had? Put that in the comments if you like. Don't forget, I don't say it, like, subscribe, notification bell, etc. if you wish to. It helps the channel because often it has way too low comments and likes compared to other channels. Maybe because I'm not doing great. You tell me. Thank you very much, and see you soon, either for a live show or for something else. Bye bye.